Oh, no, 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 no. That's mold. That's black mold. How long has this been here? We can't leave that.
What's going on?
Something's wrong. Why does the room smell like that? Leonard's vision blurred as he reached for the counter, his knees buckling beneath him. The air felt heavier tonight, thicker, almost burning in his lungs. He tried calling for help, but his voice cracked, barely a whisper. From the hallway, Marcia froze. That wasn't the sound of a merely tired man. Something far more dangerous was unfolding. She rushed toward Hymonley to discover a truth no one expected. A truth that would expose betrayal hidden in plain sight. This is the unraveling of a millionaire. Poisoned by trust. Welcome, story lovers. From where are you watching? Hit the like button and drop your city name in the comments so we can see how far our story travels. For years, Leonard Harbridge lived in a world so polished, so meticulously arranged that even the dust seemed to respect him. A self-made millionaire in his early 50s, he carried the kind of reputation that filled boardrooms with silence. His life revolved around luxury crystal glasses, imported carpets, and a mansion perched high enough to overlook the city he once struggled to survive in. With every passing year, he became richer, more admired, and more secluded. But beneath that gleaming exterior was a secret he rarely admitted. Even to himself, he was always sick. Headaches that lasted for days. Waves of nausea forced him to cancel meetings. Strange fatigue that left him unable to climb his own staircase without catching his breath. Dozens of doctors had examined him. None could find a cause. The tests were always normal. Advice was always vague. The answers were always out of reach. Still, he pushed through until the morning he fainted in his kitchen, collapsing next to a bowl of untouched soup. That moment forced his staff to intervene, insisting he couldn't continue like this. But Leonard dismissed anyone who questioned him. He refused to show weakness. Weakness was for people who hadn't clawed their way to the top. That same week, his longtime cleaning lady retired, leaving a spot for someone new. Someone the agency assigned without his noticing. He barely glanced at the file. Her name was Marcia Ellington, a black woman in her late 40s, soft-spoken but observant, with a presence that felt like steady ground beneath unstable feet. She entered his home quietly, respectfully, unaware that she was stepping into something far bigger than a simple housekeeping job. What? Leonard didn't know what he couldn't possibly imagine was that her first week in his home would uncover the one truth that had escaped him for years. A truth that would change everything. Truth that someone never wanted him to find. From the moment Marcia stepped into the mansion, she sensed something was wrong. Not with the house, it was spotless, polished, curated like a museum, but with the air itself. Heavy, chemical, too sharp for a place without visible clutter. On her first day, cleaning the study, she noticed it. A thin layer of residue on the windowsill. Not dust, something grittier with a bitter metallic scent. She wiped it away carefully, but her mind held on to the oddity. In houses this clean, strange particles don't just appear. She went about her work quietly, methodically. She noticed everything: Leonard's slow steps, the tremor in his hands, the way he pressed his fingertips into his temples when he thought no one was watching. She had seen sickness before, real sickness, the kind that isn't fixed with vitamins. Something about him didn't look right. On her third day, she found him sitting on the staircase, breathing hard, sweat running down his forehead. He brushed off her concern, insisting he was just tired from work. But his eyes betrayed him. They looked frightened, almost pleading, as if he were afraid of what might be happening inside his own body. As the days passed, Marcia noticed a troubling pattern. Leonard always felt worse after meals prepared by one particular staff member. When that person was off, Leonard's symptoms improved slightly, but noticeably. It was a detail no doctor could have caught, but Marcia saw it instantly. Still, she stayed silent. She was new, after all, a cleaning lady, not someone whose observations held authority. One afternoon, while cleaning the kitchen pantry, she spotted something else. A bottle of herbal supplement drops, pushed far back on a shelf. The label looked normal at first glance, but the seal was broken. The liquid inside cloudy, and the expiration date scratched off. Her throat tightened. Something was off. Later that evening, when Leonard placed a hand on the counter to steady himself, Marcia saw his fingertips shake. His skin looked pale, almost grayish. The sight pierced something inside her. She'd worked in homes all her life, but never had she witnessed an employer deteriorating so rapidly. The next morning, she entered the house to find a shattered glass on the floor near the dining room table. Leonard was slumped in a chair, barely awake. The air smelled faintly of something burnt, a scent Marcia recognized from years of caring for her late father. Chemical exposure. Her heart pounded. She moved through the kitchen, checking surfaces, sniffing the air, trusting instincts that had never failed her. It wasn't until she opened the lower cabinet, the one no one ever touched, that she finally saw it. A small, hidden container dripping residue. A substance she immediately recognized as dangerous. Something clicked. Something terrible. Someone in this house wasn't just careless. Someone wanted Leonard sick. Very sick. And if Marcia didn't act fast, he might not survive long enough to discover the truth. The turning point came late one evening when Leonard collapsed again, this time, face first onto the marble floor, unconscious before he hit the ground. Marcia heard the thud from across the hall and rushed in, her heart pounding as she rolled him onto his back. His breathing was shallow. His pulse is dangerously weak. This wasn't exhaustion. This wasn't aging. This was poisoning. Without hesitation, she searched the kitchen, her hands shaking but determined. The strange bottle she had found earlier was back in its place, cleaned, relabeled, and tucked neatly beside the spices. Too neat, too intentional. She lifted it to her nose. The smell confirmed her worst fear. But before she could think further, a shadow appeared in the doorway. It was a member of the household staff, the very person who handled Leonard's meals, with eyes cold and expression unreadable. They stepped inside slowly, as if already aware of what Marcia had discovered. Marcia's breath caught in her throat. The person looked down at Leonard, then at her, then at the bottle in her hand. A smirk touched the corner of their mouth, chilling, silent threat. In that moment, Marcia understood. This wasn't negligence. This was a deliberate attempt to destroy a man who trusted the wrong person. She stepped protectively in front of Leonard, gripping the bottle tighter, ready to fight if she had to. Something inside her refused to let him die like this alone. Confused, utterly unaware of the betrayal happening under his own roof. Dear audience, where are you watching from? Drop your city name in the comments. Marcia's actions that night saved Leonard's life. She called emergency services, handed the suspicious bottle directly to paramedics, and gave a complete account of everything she had noticed. Within hours, investigators swarmed the mansion. Tests revealed the truth Leonard had chased for years. He had been slowly poisoned with microdoses of a toxic compound, too subtle for regular screenings, too steady to notice until it was almost too late. The perpetrator, the staff member he trusted most, had financial motives tied to Leonard's will. Leonard woke in the hospital days later, groggy but alive. The first face he saw was Marcia's, tired, worried, but relieved. For the first time in years, he felt clarity. Someone had protected him. Someone society often overlooks, underestimates, and dismisses. A black cleaning lady had uncovered what doctors, specialists, and wealthy advisors could not. She had seen him not as a millionaire, but as a human being in danger. The incident changed Leonard profoundly. His arrogance softened. His isolation dissolved. He realized how easily privilege blinds people to those who stand right beside them, those who notice the details no one else sees. He promoted Marcia, ensured her financial security, and credited her publicly for saving his life, breaking the silence around the subtle, persistent racism that once made him see her as just staff. Because this story was never just about sickness. It was about who we choose to see and who we choose to ignore. Thanks for watching. Subscribe for more powerful stories and new videos. Ask yourself, how many truths go unnoticed simply because we underestimate the people who see them?